For the first minute, let's sit with something most gardeners agree on, but rarely question. When soil is sick, contaminated, or beaten down by pests, the go-to fix is to sterilize it. People boil it, bake it, or microwave it, believing that wiping the microbial slate clean is the safest option. And yes, boiling soil will kill pathogens, but it also kills the very thing that makes soil soil, the microbial networks that ancient farmers spent centuries working with, not against. The truth is that the modern approach to soil sterilization comes from a time when convenience overtook wisdom. When I began digging into older agricultural traditions, from Japanese forest gardening to Roman greenhouse experiments, I kept finding variations of the same surprising method. They didn't fully sterilize their soil. They used controlled heat to weaken the bad actors while preserving and sometimes awakening beneficial microbial communities. The result wasn't dead dirt. It was a rejuvenated, biologically active medium that grew stronger with time. The real secret lies in learning how to heat soil without destroying its life. Full boiling or baking scorches the fungal hyphae denatures enzymes and collapses the delicate structures that hold water and minerals. The ancient method applies a gentler approach that functions more like a fermentation starter than a sterilization protocol. Instead of boiling soil in a pot until steam pours off it, they used steam indirectly. They spread soil in shallow layers and exposed it to warm vapor rather than direct heat. You know, the goal wasn't to kill everything. It was really to stress the system just enough that those harmful microbes weakened, while the beneficial ones survived and rebounded quickly. When I tested this method, the very first thing I noticed was that the soil didn't lose its earthy scent. That right there is the sign of life. Scorched soil, well, it smells metallic, lifeless, and flat. Soil treated with gentle steam, on the other hand, retains the biochemical complexity you want your plants to grow in. To understand why this worked, you need to know how resilient beneficial microbes actually are. Many species of bacillus, certain strains of trichoderma, and honestly, countless indigenous bacteria form spores or protective coatings that allow them to withstand heat stress. Pathogens, especially those fungal ones that target seedlings, are far more sensitive. So, while boiling kills everything evenly, gentle steaming actually shifts the balance in favor of the microbes you want. This method, in a way, essentially resets the soil without erasing its memory. When ancient gardeners reused soil year after year in confined spaces such as clay pots or raised stone beds, this approach kept diseases under control but maintained fertility. It really mirrors the natural process that happens during wildfires, where low-intensity heat can stimulate microbial bursts after the event, leading to rapid regrowth. Applying this method today is quite simple, but you must resist the urge to crank up the heat. The best way, honestly, is to create a steaming environment rather than a boiling one. Place a wire rack above a pot of simmering water, set your soil in a broad pan on top of the rack, and cover the setup loosely with a lid to trap warm vapor. The key, truly, is for the steam to coat the soil, not cook it. A shallow layer of soil, no more than 2 or 3 inches thick, ensures the heat reaches everything evenly. Let the steam work for 20 to 30 minutes. You want warmth, not scorching. If the soil is hot enough that it's uncomfortable to touch, but not so hot that it burns your hand, you're in the right zone. That mild heat wakes dormant beneficial organisms and weakens the opportunistic ones. When the soil cools, it often becomes more crumbly and moisture redistributes evenly. That is the ideal moment to reintroduce organic matter. A small handful of leaf mould or finished compost, preferably from your own garden, brings in fresh microbial diversity that integrates rapidly because the soil is already biologically active. Ancient farmers did this instinctively, you know. They never applied heat without pairing it with a biological inoculation. In practice, this means you should mix in a bit of compost after steaming and let the soil rest for a day before planting. When I followed this method with seed-starting soil, damping off disease disappeared almost completely and germination improved. The seedlings developed thicker stems and stronger roots compared to seeds started in commercially sterilized mixes. One of the most overlooked benefits of this method is how it protects soil structure. Completely sterilized soil collapses. Its aggregates fall apart, drainage worsens, and oxygen levels drop. Gently steamed soil maintains its architecture, so plant roots penetrate more easily, and water flows evenly instead of pooling or running off. This method also applies beautifully in situations where soil has been overused. If you're working with container soil that has grown tomatoes, peppers or cucumbers for multiple seasons, steaming it resets the disease pressure without sending the soil to an early grave. In raised beds, the method can be scaled up by creating a tarp tent and directing warm steam into it using a kettle or hot water source. The principle remains the same. Soften the problem without killing the system. The reason this ancient method still outperforms modern soil sterilization is straightforward. Plants thrive in partnership with living microbes, not in isolation from them. By protecting that partnership, you are following the same logic that allowed historical farmers to reuse soil indefinitely without depleting it. Instead of dead dirt, you create a reborn growing medium. If this guide helped revive your interest in old-world soil wisdom, make sure you subscribe to Hydro Haven and share this video with fellow growers and history lovers who want to bring ancestral knowledge back into the garden where it belongs.